Chantal Roberts, and I'm a nationally recognized insurance thought leader regarding claims handling practices and procedures. Today on The Art of Adjusting, we're discussing business interruption claims, which we've mentioned briefly in regards to COVID when we first started the vlog, but we'll get into it a little bit more in detail today. So what are business interruption claims? Technically, there isn't business interruption in the policy. It's called business income loss, and you have a loss of income or a diminished income, depending on what kind of policy. You would also have additional coverage for expenses for you to stay open. For example, if the insured had to hire additional workers to clean the property, or temporary workers to guard the property, or even temporary cashiers or something to that effect to help the company stay open, those expenses could be covered. When you're adjusting the claim, something that is different for the business income, which of course is colloquially referred to as business interruption, and I use the term interchangeably, and most adjusters will too. When adjusters are adjusting a business interruption claim, the deductible is a little different. Most people, most lay people, are used to having a monetary deductible, meaning a wind hail deductible of 3%, like we talked about last week, or an all peril deductible, which would be $1,000 or $5,000. In the regards to business income loss or business interruption, the deductible is 72 hours. And this happens to be one of the sticking points in regards to COVID, because if it is the disease or the virus that is keeping the building shut, then the virus allegedly dies within 72 hours, so that there would not be any business loss, since the deductible would be in that same time frame. At least that's one of the theories that is going around in the insurance sectors. So when is the policy, or when is the coverage concluded? Unlike, again, the property policy, where you have an estimate and the damage is X amount of dollars, and the insurer writes you a check for X amount of dollars. In regards to the business income loss, excuse me, in regards to the business income loss, the business income coverage stops when the property should be repaired, not when it is repaired, but when it should be repaired. And that's a major sticking point as well, because it prompts the insured to move things along at a good pace. The insured can't basically dilly-dally around focusing on one thing or the other. The insured must go ahead and complete repairs, because if, for example, the appraiser says, okay, so it's going to take 3 months to repair this structure to get it back going like it was previously, the insured would then have 3 months of coverage for the business interruption. Now, as we talked about last week, things could change where there's additional damage found, or there may be a shortage of supplies, so that it takes longer to get the building repaired, and that's fine. Your business interruption would, of course, extend to that amount too. There's also a type of policy, and that says that you have coverage for 12 months, and it is all of your expenses in those 12 months. That is, I guess, if the building still takes 3 months to repair. That's all you're going to get, 3 months. However, if you don't get the 12 months, if the building takes 18 months, for example, to repair, you only get 12 months. The insured only gets 12 months because that's what the policy limit is, 12 months. So what does the adjuster need when adjusting a claim for business interruption? Usually the adjuster is going to be looking for some kind of methodology to prove that there has been a business loss, and that will be tax records such as your W-2s, W-4s, W-9s, 1099s, something to that effect. If you're, for example, warehouse, show your supply records, like how much you had in stock, and then when did you replenish it, so that we can see that, okay, so you can't ship out. You usually have this much stock, you can't ship out. So this is the amount of business that you're losing. These are the clients that are going to other warehouses. You'll need to keep track of that. If you're in the service industry, for example, you need to show, and the adjuster will want to see how these services were affected. For example, when I worked hotel business interruption claims, I would ask the front desk or the manager for a record of how many people were turned away, because of course hotels always say they're full all the time. Well, that's fine. And I understand that you've got, 3 floors that were flooded or fire or something to that effect. Show me how many people had to be canceled. Show me that cancellation reservation. Show me how many people stopped by at the last second and you had to turn them away because you didn't have 18 rooms or whatever. It's not that I'm going to call them or anything. It's just that I need to be able to show that you actually had a business downturn. If it's a restaurant, for example, it's kind of the same concept. Show how many tables were not filled as compared to last week, last month, last year, something to that effect. Because usually what the adjuster or the forensic accountant, and I usually hired a forensic accountant to help me out with business interruption claims, what they're looking for is a trend. And so they usually want 3 to 5 years of records to show that that the insured had this kind of business. This week, I've discussed business interruption claims, their deductibles, and what kind of documentation may be needed for the adjustment of the claim. Every claim is different, and every insurer has different protocols for handling the losses. However, this being in the litigated world that we are in, see below for some legalese. Few claims go to a jury trial, and picking the expert who has been deposed the most or who's gone to trial the most may not be the correct expert. Failing to have a second set of eyes on a claim in order to save some expenses may not be the best way to resolve a loss. As an expert witness and a former claims adjuster, I'm sharing my experiences in the art of adjusting. Thank you for watching. I appreciate your time.